All right, welcome back to episode 14 of the Guildies podcast. I am joined today by my faithful co-host, Bear. Bear, how you doing?
Me mate Bear, I am good, thank you very much. I'm very good.
Yeah, me mate Bear is here. He's here to
Me
give
mate
us some insight,
Mm,
along with me, on
the
The
Mandalorian.
Mandalorian. I recently just got sick with a vaccine. Well, I guess vaccine side effects, and I was like, I'm gonna feel like shit, so I'm gonna. I like never watch movies. If there's one thing you guys will learn about me eventually, I never ever, I hate movies. Like anything you could put in a movie, I would probably rather experience in a book. Like I would
He's
just.
one of those people.
And no, no, no,
So
and that's not to say like no. There's no. I mean, there's plenty of great movies, but like I just kind of like the depth of a book, right? Like I just like you can put so much more expression and emotion, and you can put so much into a book. So usually I'm just like I like to read a book. But I was like, everyone talked about The Mandalorian, and I like Star Wars. I'm going to preface this entire review from the perspective of since I was a kid, I have consumed pretty much every kind of Star Wars media I could. I've read to date like almost 40 Star Wars books. I played all the games. I fucking watched the movies. I had the comic books. I had like the Lego sets and I mean, I just love Star Wars so much. And so I was like, I should watch Mandalorian. I've seen everything else, and I haven't watched Mandalorian because, like, what am I gonna get Disney Plus? Have you got me? Come on.
True.
And then I was like anticipating being sick for like 2 or 3 days, and I was like, okay, Disney, you got me.
Did you like just pump out all like the entire watch time within like those 2 days?
Yes, I
Or like
did.
three?
I watched the entire thing.
All right, that okay. That's fair.
I
Okay.
watched the whole goddamn thing.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Yeah, and you know what? I liked
Oh,
it.
good.
I liked it a lot. I have some pretty healthy critiques of it, I think, and I'm sure you do as well.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
overall, we'll start with this. The premise of the story really does it for me. I like the idea that they were trying to make a western, and like
Mm,
Mandalorians are the perfect. They were like the
for sure.
perfect like race and culture to do. I mean, it was like his weird like religious creed with Mandalore is kind of not weird. Like it works in the setting, but it's
Mm.
I don't
It's cool.
I don't remember
I
a lot of
enjoy it.
like Islamic cowboys that are like,
Islamic
yeah, this
cowboys?
is the way.
That's Ugandan, isn't it? That's Ugandan
No, no,
knuckles.
it is,
On,
but they
and
just say
that's
they
do
say
you
it.
know the way?
No, I know, but they say this is the way, and every time they say it,
Uh,
I'm like, this is the way.
Inshallah, this is
Yeah.
the way.
um. Anyways, I love the premise. I love the
Very good.
artwork. I love they had a bunch of Mandalorians. Because I feel like they in supporting in like Legends and Expanded Universe and even the Clone Wars, Mandalorians got a lot of love. But in the actual main series, they always they made like
And like,
Jango and
yeah,
Boba the.
yeah, it's definitely nice to see more Mandalorians on like this level of like front screen stuff because it's like obviously as you said like in the cartoon shows and all that kind of like expanded stuff they've been there, but I feel like they're only like if you're just you like the Star Wars movies and you hear like oh they're bringing out like like a TV series.
Mm-hmm.
I imagine, and this is like to the most casual viewer, like someone that doesn't go and watch all the cartoons and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Seeing more Mandalorians outside of Django and Fett is like it's a really cool experience. I think there's such like a cool just thing.
Right. Well, and the art style, the entire idea behind like their
Mm,
helmets and how that works, I think is it like
very
it's
cool.
yeah, it's really cool, and it's also just like immediately like you totally what it is when you see it, and it's very striking,
Mm,
um
mm,
and all the other ones they had like in their little enclave, super cool.
mm.
Love that. Think it's very
Very,
good. Yeah.
very. I guess that's a point that we'll bring up later, but that was something I wish we saw a little bit more of, if anything. But we'll get into that.
Yeah, I definitely feel like when they flee, I forget what that planet's called, and the Enclave is like
Oh,
gone. Like I'm just kind of like, man, that was my favorite part so far. You took it away from me.
is it Tatooine? It's Tatooine, the
N-
original planet they go to, or like where he gets the bounties and stuff. That's Tatooine,
no,
isn't it?
it's a different one. It's Nora something. Nora.
Really, I thought it was Tatooine because isn't the Oh wait, no, yeah. I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, continue. I'm pretty sure. I thought it was
No, I'm
Tatooine.
sure it's not because they travel to Tatooine. Yeah, I'll do it right now. Look it up.
I'm positive because it's. Oh, I guess maybe you're right there. Because there's a few things in the episodes which I don't know if you picked up or like because I've watched a few videos on the series itself and like people talking about it, and there's a lot of callbacks to like the main movies and such.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I
So
know. Yeah.
we'll,
Yep.
we can go where we get to
Navarro.
it.
Navarro is the
Navar-
planet that he.
Navarro?
Yeah.
Remember Navarro? That's a four, I think. So,
um. So I liked it a lot. I liked it because it was Star Wars. I gotta say, if I wasn't a big Star Wars fan, I don't know how much I would have loved this movie.
really?
Well, and
Movie.
sorry, series. And it had some high points, but there were so many lows that just kind of like very, very quietly stacked on top of each other. Because none of them are
True.
like horribly glaring, but the entire show is paced in a way that is whimsical and convenient, which I can like deal with a little bit, but like it seems like at every turn, like the one that stands out to me almost the most is he takes Baby Yoda or Grogu to that like seeing stone. I forget what planet they go
Uh,
to, and Robert
yeah, yeah,
Fett and the woman follow him, and they're like, "Oh, we gotta cut a deal," and Robert Fett's
the
like,
tragedy.
"Yeah,
That's
is
what they
that
call it.
yeah?" And
Yeah.
Robert Fett's like, "I'll see no harm done to the child." Well, right, and so like the implied idea is that Robert Fett, I'm not going to shoot the kid, but we got to I want the armor or whatever, right? That's what he came there for. And then
Right.
the Dark Troopers take Baby Yoda, and Robert Fett's like, okay, I will follow you across the galaxy to save this little green goblin. And you're like, why? He's like, I said no harm would come to the kid. So now you're going to go risk your entire life to go fight an entire, like,
It. Yeah. It's
like,
it's
what?
interesting. 'Cause I mean, would Boba know of Yoda in like? Because he was. I mean, I know he knows of Jedi. They're a thing. But would he know of Yoda
Yoda.
specifically? Because
Probably not. I mean, Boba was a kid when the Republic
sure.
fell.
Well, yeah. So I do agree. Like it is kind of weird. It's like he's like suddenly just like I can get like maybe Boba is like a very like I don't know. I mean I can't say he's an honorable individual. I don't think he's very honorable.
Well,
But
you got to think of it this way. Even if he did know the fact that he doesn't like just shoot it when he sees Baby
true,
Yoda, because
that is true as well.
He watched Mace Windu, Yoda's best fella, just
Oh
cut
no,
him
yeah.
down.
Oh no,
Like
yeah.
he just watches him die.
Yoda wasn't there at that battle, was he?
He
When Mace Windu
no,
kills Jango.
he comes down on one of
Yeah,
the
he's old
gunships.
man mobile.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But yeah,
okay.
Boba literally watches the Jedi kill his dad. So like he's probably not.
I can't. This is just me being a shitter, but I can't wait for like season 3, and we're like all the way into like Yoda's like preteen years, and Mando gives him like a lightsaber, and Boba realizes what he is and just fucking shoots him in the skull. Like,
Okay,
it's
so
just
let me tell you some of my worst gripes, and one of
yeah.
the most the like most recent one for me finishing the series. That final episode was so fucking bad. That is the absolute worst way you could have ended the series.
I think you are probably one of the few people that share that opinion. I mean, I think there's like a lot of problems with the final episode, but
So
the final episode's like the highest rated on the IMDb for the entire series.
that is
So
literally unbelievable. Because I
yeah,
like the
it's
thing
like
with Boba at the end
10.8.
where he's like I'm still wearing this like skirt thing that I put on earlier that looks like a cosplay because it probably is. Haha, Reddit moment, and he goes in and kills the Twi'lek that took Jabba's spot. That
Twilight.
was good.
That
That
was
was
good.
fine.
That was really good.
That was a fine. I don't mind that. I don't care that it looks kind of shoddily put together. That's fine. But like Luke just storming onto the thing at the most insanely convenient time, and then they CGI young Mark Hamill, and Mark Hamill's not even doing the voice. I'm like, dude, just fucking kill me. And then it only goes to like reaffirm the fact that Luke in the original series was just this bland white bread, like zero anything going on.
I agree. He was definitely super not like
he's
at
like,
all interesting.
He's like not even expressive. He's like, I'm here for the kid. The kid can't stay with you. The kid must come with me. And like Mando, the guy who's like stoic the whole time, is like starting to break and show a bunch of emotion. And Luke's like, okay, can we go?
Yeah, it's like it was like. Oh, by the way, it had out of 46,000 reviews, it has a 9.8 rating on IMDb. But I agree. Like, I think that whole like final scene, like, it was also a problem which I felt that it was like the second series was rarely starting to pull on was, hey, remember all these characters from your favorite parts of Star Wars? Here they are, and I'm like, remember? Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, remember Chewbacca?
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
But it was like I was getting really sick of it a bit. And I mean, ultimately it's like whatever. Like it's like cool if they do it right, but like you had like the who are they called? The other like the Mandalorians or whatever. They were the guys in blue, and they helped Boba retake the ship.
It was Bo-Katan, and she was like the rightful ruler. Man, oh my god, dude, that scene where he defeated the guy who was Gus in Breaking Bad. I don't remember his name.
Yeah.
And
I think
he's like smiling when he comes back, and there's this entire like idea that plays out between Mando and Bo-Katan that like he's got the Darksaber and now she can't wield it and she defeats him in combat, and then the series just ends and they don't do anything with it. There's like all this tension and she's like clearly upset because it's like an honor thing, and then it's like, oh, here's Luke. Okay, the series done.
Yeah, it's rough.
What were they doing?
I get. Yeah, I mean they do have a season 3 in production, or like eventually. It's like 2022 release, but I agree. It's again, it's just another thing on that end episode where it's just that whole episode. Like it was cool, like there was a lot of action and stuff, but I think the storytelling just kind of fell apart a bit because they realized, hey, this is our final episode. We kind of have this Darksaber thing we need to deal with, but we haven't done anything. Just
as hard as you can, just fucking fist it in. Who gives a shit if it makes any sense at all?
Yeah, it's like that whole episode is just. I guess people just liked it because it showed off Luke.
Yeah,
Lukey Pookie, and
Luke Pookie.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. Like I think from the terrible. It's 2020 they released this, right? Like season 2.
Mm-hmm.
There's no reason what is it called? The deep fake or whatever the face animation stuff.
Yeah, like the CGI that they do for Luke.
Yeah, should not be that bad. Like it was bad for like a $1 trillion company, you know? Like such as Disney.
And so my main gripes, I'm going to name 3. And this one is related in a way ish. But the first one is I didn't mind some of the practical effects. Like the first like weird little alien thing he finds, is it Queel? The little the old little thing, and he shows him how to ride the that guy
like
when he dies.
I have spoken guy.
Yeah. I thought that was kind of like they were like, we're gonna do a practical effect for this thing, and it's like kind of a retro thing. That was fine for me. I was like, you know, it's like a practical effect animatronic riding a CGI'd like blob, which I was like, we probably could have just CGI'd both, but that's okay. That's fine. Sure, I can deal with it.
That's a good mix. That's good.
But there were a lot of points in the show where they were like, we're going to use practical effects because... Like the ant. Did you go and look at that ant picture, dude?
No, I forgot to.
Dude, look at it right. The ant, it literally it looked like a prop from the 80s, like from a B-roll 80s horror film. Dude,
Fucking
look at it.
god.
Yeah, and
I
conveniently is sitting
totally
there playing
forgot.
cards with the woman when he comes back. It's like, I need to find another Mandalorian, and she's like, "Oh, this guy can help
Oh
you." And it
yeah.
pans to the end. He's like,
What's the fuck kind of species is that? Like that?
"It's an ant.
Where?
It's just an ant."
Is it that? Oh yeah. Oh my, this is that's so stupid. Well, anyway,
and
yeah.
and and there was so much great. The CGI in this movie was in this series was amazing. The ship CGI was amazing.
True.
The ATSC CGI was pretty good. Everything they CGI'd looked amazing. Did
There's
amazing.
some there's some really advanced stuff going on for CGI as well.
They
Like
did.
with all, have you seen like any of the process they like? Especially it's like a lot of the. I know the riding scene when he's riding like the giant ball thing across like it's in like I think the second episode where he's visually
Yeah,
going
yeah.
after the child. Like when he's like jumping through all the cracks and stuff. A lot of that was like that's some really like advanced like CGI stuff set up for that. So
Sure.
it does seem like
Well, and
eh,
another one that got me is when they met Ahsoka, you're like, ooh, Ahsoka Tano, this is cool. And you see her face and you're like, man, she just
cool. That's not cool.
well, you see her face and you're like, well, she's jarring in all the series that you see her in and like the Clone Wars and
Mhm.
shit. The
Right.
Togruta are just kind of like ugly humans with the tail things. And so when they had that actor, I was like, that's weird, but I can get behind it. And then she takes off her hood and her fucking the head tails are literally like styrofoam. They're they literally look like cosplay
Yeah.
styrofoam. And I was like, you guys get what, like $12 million an episode? I thought I read somewhere. Like,
You got a lot of money, that's for sure.
dude, come on. Come on. They didn't even have to be like CGI'd, but it looked so fake. It looked
Yeah,
so unbelievably fake, and that I was just like, "Come on, you can do better than that." It just took me out of it so hard. I'm just like, ugh.
I agree. I definitely. I mean, I like practical effects. I guess like I think they can be really done well
Sure,
and cool. But like, there's like some where it's just do your best, maybe like blend them a bit or something. Like, because like just full on practical like that on TVs nowadays, which are like 4K rendering and
hmm
stuff, it's just like it's not ever gonna. You should like refine the process of making CGI look amazing rather than trying to like put practical.
Well,
It's just
yeah. Well,
it's.
it's like I'm sure they put a bunch of money into making Mando's suit, and it looks amazing.
True.
It
It
looks
looks absolutely amazing.
fantastic, and it's a great design. It's very sleek. It's very tempered, but it's also very very unique. Um,
Sure.
I'm fine with that. Or like if they wanted to, like, there's some of the times where they're using like the jetpack, where clearly the actors are on like wires or something.
Right. Yeah.
That's okay. I don't mind. Like my suspension of disbelief can kind of be gone enough for me to be like, it's just
Yeah, they're flying.
that's how that's like, how would I fly in a jetpack? I don't fucking know. Um,
Yeah. How would Pudding House fly in the jetpack?
but like the ant thing, I'm like, dude, there's no reason. Or like when you can see some of the costumes are like clearly. Is it you who told me they were like cosplays?
So it wasn't. They. I know for a fact the stormtroopers in the episode where Boba comes to help Mando fight off the stormtroopers and dark troopers take the child. That episode, I think they had the 501st or some. It was like this. It was this fan company, and they're like, they make their own like armor for
Mm-hmm.
cosplays,
Mm-hmm.
and I think they substituted some of their own armor into that as
Okay.
like as a nod of like, hey, we appreciate what the fans do. It's like, and then and stuff. But I agree. Like so, I think the armor was what
Well,
they were wearing.
it's very weird because Mando's armor looks like it's fitted to him and everything looks normal, but when Boba put
Mhm.
his on, or like when the guy,
The
the
mer-
marshal, it looks like it fits really weird on them. It doesn't look. It like
I can understand maybe the marshal because
right,
it's like
not
it's
his. Yeah.
yeah, he's just it's kind of his is like kind of like this scrap fucking heap kind of deal. But Boba, it's cool. I like it. It's just he's obviously got a bigger figure now, and it can look kind of goofy at times. Like that whole scene when he flies up to when the child is taken and he
Yeah.
gets his
Yes.
jetpack and flies. It's a clearly it's a skinnier actor doing the fly thing, but it's
it,
still,
and it bothers me just a little bit because it's like I like that. I like Boba, but it just looks like some of this. It looks like Empire Strikes Back. Boba looks better than this one, and that shouldn't be. Like that's I don't know why. I did. Maybe someone in the comments can give me an explanation because I don't understand why. Um,
I also
but
think it's because of the figure. The figure's like the biggest thing, I
you
think.
think that's
Because like,
it? Just looks like there's so much of his legs and arms and everything exposed, and he also wears like the the like robe he has on. He just puts everything over it, so he's got like a little like kilt situation going on, and then when he goes
yeah,
to Jabba's palace, he still has the kilt situation. Like you can find some tights, man. It's the entire galaxy. You can find
yeah.
pants
I
somewhere.
agree. Yeah. I think it's like a case of like, because obviously he's bigger and older now, bigger in like the girth sense. But
He's a large man.
it's just it can come off like weird at some angles. So,
Yeah, a little bit. But I'll move on from this and I'll just say some of the practical effects really took me out of it. Like, really took
yeah.
me out of it.
Very, 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 very fair.
My second one is that it looks to me like none of these people went through any kind of like tactical combat training at all. And that took me out of it a little bit because, and I'll use Cara Dune as like the that's not how you hold a gun. That's not how you aim a gun at someone. They're laser guns. Okay. I bet Keanu Reeves took a bunch of tactical combat training.
He absolutely did. He learned gun. He learned everything about. He even learned like a style of shooting, like whatever that like gun shit where he like flips it and reloads and all that kind of stuff. He took immense courses for it.
Right.
So,
I feel like everyone on the cast did not. They're just like holding it like that Getty Images picture of the grandma holding the gun. Like everyone holds the gun like that. Like they don't know how to shoot a gun. Like they're like, I'm a redditor and I'm holding a gun now, and this is how I'd hold a gun if I, this is how I think people. And everything. There's so much going on in the show where I'm like, what? That, or they'll like turn a corner and there'll be stormtroopers and they just killed like 8 of them, and then they're like, what are we gonna do? We're pinned down. There's one point where they're coming out of like the cloning lab thing, and they've gone through like seriously like 20 or 30 stormtroopers they've killed, and they come up to like the hangar, and 3 stormtroopers get off an elevator, and they're like, Jesus Christ, we're fucking pinned down. And you're like, what? You just killed 30 of them. What are you? Like, oh God, what are we gonna do? And it just like creates all this silly drama that I just can't figure out if Mando's like the craziest, highest trained assassin, whatever, or if like what is deadly to these people. And also you then find out that Mando can get shot basically in the head 1 billion times, and the Beskar just protects him.
That is such a that was like another point. I not to interrupt you too much, but like
take it.
It's a very specific scene where in like the episode where he's attacking this Imperial freighter with the other Mandalorian people, and like he's like, cover me, and he runs to the hallways with 2 thermal detonators, and like I don't know what the fuck his plan was originally, but like, he's running, and like it's not like the thermal detonators are behind his back or anything. It's in his hands in front of him while he's getting shot at frontwards. So he's running towards him with these 2 explosive devices primed in his hands, and I don't know if he would plan just to run and throw them, but he's running, getting shot like 1,000 times, conveniently everywhere where there's like all the connecting parts of his body were just never harmed, and it was just all hitting the Beskar. But then he gets shot in the knee, I think, or like he just can't take anymore, and he falls to his knees and just rolls them. He rolls these 2 explosive grenades along the floor and kills all the troopers. Like, I understand it's to be like, oh, he's sorry, this armor is like so rare and powerful, but it's fucking stupid.
Dude, you're just like, what the fuck? Or the part where he's like, have you ever taken your helmet off or showed anyone your face? Or have they ever taken your helmet off? He's like, nah. And then he goes to that like fucking forest world, and he's like, okay, time to eat lunch. And he puts his helmet down in front of like an open window of the entire village, and you're like, hey, buddy, I think you're not covered.
He's so like I'm gonna freaking never show my face, but he gets to a village he's never been to before, never checks the building he's at, just a big open window, just takes it off, takes like a fucking a drink of his Capri Sun. It's just like, dude, the fuck was oh my god.
The show is so insanely inconsistent, and then also a plot issue, and I'm just kind of going on a tangent now.
You're crazy.
He's like a religious zealot for the Mandalorian culture or whatever.
Right.
And doesn't know who a Jedi is. But in the lore that he seems so steeped in, the Jedi fought Mandalorians for like years and years and years and years and years. They're like their ancient enemy. They even reference it in the show at one point.
Right.
And but for the longest time he like can't figure out what Yoda's doing or what a Jedi is. The ancient sorcerers is the Jedi.
Well, wasn't he like he's a Mandalore and he like follows the culture and everything, but I think a lot of it is like disjointed from what it like kind of gives
sure
off.
It could be he's
I imagine that like the like, you know, they know they like fought and they're like the Empire wiped out a lot of them, but I imagine like, you know, the fact that they used to fight the Jedi and like what Jedi are isn't exactly a very commonly explained thing to them.
And that could be, but then like Boba also is like, what's a Jedi? And you're like, you know what a Jedi is, you fucking idiot. You watched them kill. You literally watched like 150 of them on a fucking dried up ball sack.
Dude,
he even hunts one before he goes into the Sarlacc pit. He literally watches Luke fucking.
Sure, Luke. Yeah, Luke's man. Wait, was Boba there at the end as well?
Boba's in his shit. That was really funny when they like go to attack the cruiser, and they're like, he's shooting at the shuttle, and the shuttle goes in, and they're like, shuttle, you can't, blah blah blah, and he like just turns and hits the hyperdrive, and he's gone.
Yeah,
they don't ever reference him again. He's just gone.
He like spends that entire like sequence of like, you know, swerving around like the TIE fighters trying not to get shot, and then like the moment he's clear, it's just bang bang and he's gone.
Yeah, he's like, fuck this.
I mean, I was kind of intrigued to see what happens if Boba met Luke, but you know, I guess I don't want to.
Yeah, I guess we just got to ham fist that one right out too, dude. And the Slave One looked amazing.
It did. It was definitely a highlight, is seeing the Slave One in such like a amazing light, and I'm glad they went. I know it's like, again, it kind of brings back to that they're bringing in stuff from the old series for like the boost, it's a bolster like wow factor of the show. But I'm glad they used the Slave One and not the fucking shitty Boba reveal or whatever the Mando reveal or whatever he had.
Oh yeah, the Razor.
Yeah, the thing that kept getting deconstructed and put back together within like a day. So
yeah, there's a lot to this show where the continuity is very, very, very strange. I thought they did like kind of a good job with Ahsoka, kind of, but
right.
they.
I'm glad she didn't continue to follow the Mandalorian through the series, because that was like a big thing I was really not eager to see, because it's just, I feel like it's very cheap.
Yeah, I like Ahsoka. There's just so much to the whole thing. Like, here's a big lore point that I'm confused about. They claim that Baby Yoda was being trained at the temple on Coruscant.
They did?
Yeah, that he's been trained. There's a thing.
Yeah.
And then you're like, okay, so when did this, like, the temple falls? We see it happen in episode 3, and we get no mention of another, you know, we don't even know what Yoda is. Like, there's not a name for what he is. Him and Yoda and Yaddle. And, like, you can say, like, oh, it was in, like, you know, supporting literature and media, but it's like, I don't know, man. It's just the second Yoda. I feel like this is, like, not the place to retcon it. To be like, oh, yeah, he was just at the temple at the time. You're like, really? That's interesting.
man.
That one I struggle with just a little bit.
I agree. It's again, yeah, as you said, like heaps of times, just a lot of just consistencies throughout the show. That's it. It really shows once you start thinking about it.
Well, and that's my thing is like I don't necessarily resent that they tried to make like a popcorn flick, right? Or like a like a western and kind of do a different like take on it, like different style of cinema than just like the adventure and the quest, and but I just think they just didn't know what they wanted out of this, and that became apparent by like episode 4 in season 1. You're like, what are we doing? Why do we have these wacky misadventures, and why do you and here's my third one. The acting in this show, minus like Mando himself and Bill Burr, is atrocious.
Yeah, there's some very like, and I don't want to name anyone out, but Gina,
Dude,
Karina, or whatever fucking stupid name is.
So bad, and I don't. And this isn't me being like MGTOW, like, oh, they tried to put a strong woman in. It's like every time they were about to fight something, they're like, lock and load, and you're like, dude, what? You look like you look like Fiona from Shrek, but in Star Wars.
Lock and load, as she slaps the top of her gun for no reason.
Yeah, there's like no like arm or anything. She's just like, lock and load. And you're like, oh my god, she just tries so hard to be badass, and it's got nothing to do with the fact that she's a woman. It's got everything to do with the fact that she's the worst actor I've ever fucking seen.
Yeah, it's like I don't think she's like, she's obviously got some moments where it's like it's fine and it's like whatever, but like this like that scene where like all 4 of the females, when they're in the 2 Mandalorian ones and the sniper lady, which is just a character which I don't think there's any reason to be there. But and then you have Gina, and they're in the elevator on the last episode, and they're going to clear everyone out. And she gets into the elevator, and the guns malfunction, and she's like, "Oh, hold on a minute," and she's just making like a struggle, and it's just like, "Oh, you need help with that? No, I've got it." And then she slaps the gun or something, and then she kills people when the elevator doors open. It's just like the whole thing looked horrible. It was like like it feels like they're doing this for the first time. It's like improv.
Yeah, almost. Well, that's what I mean. It's like it's the same thing when they would get into like a combat situation. Was it Cara Dune? Is that her name? She would literally just be like standing up, super relaxed, like shooting her gun. It's like, hey, I don't know if you've ever had a gun shot at you before, but you're not just like, hee, my posture's great. I'm under no stress right now.
But they're blasties.
Yeah. Yeah, sorry, they're not firing guns. They're following.
Forehead, you fucking...
Yeah. So some of her lines are like, they took me out. I'm like sitting there with Jana, and the fucking movie finished after some stupid one-liner, or the series, and I'm like, I hate this fucking so much. You're gonna ask. I was like, I can't. I hate this so fucking much. Just the acting is so piss fucking poor on every level. Besides Mando, and I'll say this: what I wish I saw more of. Here's my constructive criticism, because you can't have criticism without constructive criticism. Bill Burr's character is really annoying, kind of like he is in real life. Yeah. But that character was put together really, really well. Him and his like ragtag pirate group was like, I would like more of this. I kind of hate them all, but I want the dynamic between him and Mando, and his like posse was put together really well. The whole dynamic that they had was really interesting. I thought he played that character really, really well. And the one scene in this that I was like, probably the only time I like felt palpable drama was when they're doing that like escort mission thing, and they're sitting there with the Imperial officer after, and they're like arguing back and forth, and then Bill Burr shoots him in the head, and that whole scene was like, I was like, wow, I actually was just like drawn into that. It was like the first time in the whole series where I was like, wow, I want to watch
that's this. That's still on the Prisoner Fredo or whatever, right? Like when is that?
No, it's when when they're the Rhodium on that like jungle planet thing.
Yeah. Oh yeah, when
they're at like the lunchroom, and they're like talking with them,
like,
and yeah,
and the officer keeps trying to toast to like a big like
massacre
Imperial,
or whatever,
yeah, and Bill Burr's just like, you're a fuck.
Yeah.
I agree. That was a good scene.
But it's like one of the only like air quotes good. Like there are a lot of cool things that happen in this, but like everyone was the Imperial officer was a fantastic actor. Bill Burr was like shitty and sniveling and like just a little rat like he is, and did such a great job. And then he just kills the guy, and you're like, you just don't even see it coming. You think he's gonna argue with him more and argue with him more, and he just kills him, and you're like, whoa, that's great drama. And it's the first good amount of drama that happens, and it's like episode 8 of season 2.
Yeah, it's Richard Brake was the actor. I think
Very
that
good.
Played.
Good teeth.
Yeah, Valen Hess was the officer's name.
Wow, a German last name. Very
very
interesting.
empire-y. Yeah, I agree. That was a really good thing. I mean, Bill Burr, I think, was out of all like the characters that supported Mando throughout the show, I think he was one of the better ones. Like
yeah,
all the other actors very much felt like, like I was sad to see Bill Burr go. So.
Yeah, well, he played like chaotic, evil Han Solo. Like
Sure.
Which I think is a good thing. I feel like there should have been more of that in this fucking Western. Because Han Solo's basically from a Western. He's basically a space cowboy to begin with. Like,
a space bandito.
I also think
he's
that
literally a cowboy. Because like from what he like how he looks and everything. But.
True. Yeah. Well, and I think I think a really big missed opportunity here is they didn't really set up like a group of people. And when they did, it was fucking Cara Dune, and you're like, oh, gee, here we go again.
Yeah,
as she like holds a gun with a scope on it at hip level and is just like shooting like blindly, and you're like, wow, okay.
Cara Dune, you're shooting her on men. Slaps gun 4 more times.
Yeah, she's like, hey, I've had fucking several. No, I'm not gonna.
Yeah, I'm an ODST. I mean, a Republic.
Yeah, I'm an ODST. Yeah, it's she and like her attempts at drama were even worse because they were just like, I hate to use the word cringe in like media that I vaguely care about, but like her attempts at like disagreeing with another character, like, we're never gonna make it. Psst, you think I can't drop Star Wars line planet phrase here? You think blah 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 this planet? That's like that time I blah, and you're like, dude, what? Did you just Family Guy in fucking Star Wars just now? Did you just have a fucking Peter moment?
Like, to put some emphasis.
There you go. Emphasis.
Yeah, that's the word.
There's an
Thank
F.
you.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. To put that on that, like her acting, right? Like she's had like what, like it's like 2 seasons of her like showing off her acting skills. That one pilot that talks to her in the 2nd season, it's like I know he identifies her as like a Republic commander, and he's like, we could use people like you in the New Republic. His few lines there, I was more impressed with the majority of her character in season 2.
Yeah.
Like,
yes.
Is she like in season 1? It's like what I feel like, you have some leniency getting into the character for the first time on screen and such.
Sure.
Even you should be acting a lot, but season 2 came around and it just didn't improve that much. I feel. In fact, I feel like it got worse.
It got worse. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, so like I have hopes that maybe in like whatever they do with season 3. Well, I don't. She's not in season 3 because she got dropped from Disney.
Yeah.
But,
yeah. And now that I am seeing Mando after having not seen it but hearing about her getting dropped, like, probably for the best. Probably best for everybody that she did, because she's fucking bad. There's another part, like when they're on the jungle thing and they're like doing the sniper overwatch on like the cart and whatever in that base. And the girl's like with their sniper, and she's like crouching down, whatever, and fucking she-ogre's just standing there, big and huge, and chest puffed out, and they're trying to like be sneaky, and she's like, "Yep, looks like there's stormtroopers around here.
I better go kill them."
Yeah, you're like, "Yeah, I'm gonna kill every one of them." And you're like, okay.
It's just I think it's cool that they have like a Republic commander or like from the rebellion or a rebellion, whatever they're fucking called. I'm fucking. But I keep saying Republic, so. Meh. But it's cool, like of like having this like really elite like commando unit kind of tag along because I feel like it would have been cool to see more of the rebellion on the, like a bigger screen rather than just the movies. But
True.
she it just felt like they slapped the rebellion thing on her if for a reason to her to be able to do what she does. Like I know
Yeah.
she doesn't talk about it a lot because she's like emotional sad, but it's like I don't there's not any story behind her to me. I feel like it's like she's a rebellion commando. She's had it rough. Like okay, like
Yeah.
90% of the characters in the show have.
Yeah.
Like I don't
Yeah, Mando's parents
like
are both dead. So, oh yeah, and
man, literally.
she's like, oh, did you lose someone on Alderaan? She's like, I lost everyone, and like
It's like what?
that should invoke something in me where I'm like, wow, I am understanding this character more. But I'm just like, yeah, of course you
But
did, you stupid bitch. What else do you got for me? God damn, this sucks.
This is just the Gina Carano, whatever her fucking stupid name is. Gina Carano,
Yeah, that's it, Karana.
Bombono. It's just it's like it's the Gina hating podcast now, but I
Yeah, sure,
no,
whatever,
I mean,
fine.
I think as like a general synopsis, her character definitely didn't. It was like it bring the show down at times. I think so. She's definitely a weakest link of the show.
You know who is a better actor than her in the show?
Here we go.
That no, not at all. That assassin.
I think the assassin. Oh, dude, IG. I loved IG. The IG droid was super good.
He was cool as shit, and he literally had that line. He had that exchange with Mando where he's like, Mando's like, you can't, whatever, and he's like, I cannot, blah blah blah, and they have this back and forth, and I'm like, wow, this is TV. Like the first time I'm like, wow, this is fucking TV. I'm like,
wow, this is fucking TV.
Yeah, I'm like, wow, they're like actually doing like dialogue instead of like weird, like ham-fisted one-liners. He's like,
I agree. It was
take the child. I will die. It doesn't matter. It just blah blah blah. And I'm like, man, IG gonna die? No.
well, it's like the IG droid added a lot that I think was missing from season 2. Like I know Boba and everything got added, but I think if IG's like conversations alone and like this weird like thing they got going on with Mandalore, who's like hates droids significantly and he's very like to himself, and the IG droid that's just like blunt and straight to the point.
And he comes around to the droid and is like bummed when the IG droid, like clearly upset when the IG droid dies. You're like,
it's like it's a good. I think it's like one of the better arcs in the show.
Yeah, it absolutely. It's like one of the only good arcs in the show.
Not to mention, amazing. I think that was a CGI and practical blend for the IG droid.
I'm sure it was. It looked amazing.
It looked like the first scene where he walks into town and he's just doing spins, shooting people, dude. It's amazing. It's such a good scene. Like I think this also, to add on to that, I think the first 3 episodes in the first season are amazing. If you like just a small movie, if that's like what you had to end at, and you have to like choose a certain amount of time to watch. I think the first 3 were really good. Like that, and then after that, it's kind of gets. Well, the episode after that is where they meet Gina Carano. So, like,
well, and that's my thing is like this, and that was the entire reason I wanted to come on here and do this with you. Is like the entire show had, in my opinion, such an insane amount of potential, and I really think they squandered like most of it.
I agree. There's a lot of it is just. They had like such a clear. They could have made something really good, but there's just so many just.
Well, I was like, maybe I'm remembering all the other Star Wars different, right? Maybe I'm.
Right.
And so me and John were just watching Episode 3, and it in the first like 10 minutes of the movie, there's better acting. And Anakin's character is supposed to be like this. Like literally like autistic, emotionally stunted kid who is a slave and then went to like Coruscant with Obi-Wan and was like, okay, now you're like emotionally a slave. You can't show any, and like clearly just an adult who is like, something's not right with me and I don't know how to express myself. And his acting is fucking more convincing. Everything that happens there, General Grievous's is more like, there's so much to the show where I'm just like, wow, I'm watching a movie. I'm watching a movie that costed $300 billion and paid off because this is unbelievable. The CGI in it's still unbelievable. The CGI'd aliens look fine. I don't like no part of me is like cringing watching episode 3 again. And
Sure.
it should have only moved forward from there is where I'm at with it.
I agree. Yeah, I mean, I haven't watched the original trilogy and like the whatever the fucking came after that, like in a long, long time. But
You mean like 4
yeah,
through 6?
yeah, whatever they call. I get mixed up because you know whatever who made LucasArts, whatever fucking they I don't know why, but they you know they did the whole releasing of like it's like the Empire era is first, and then the Republic era, which is before the Empire, is like
That
second.
they did. Yeah,
I
mean, there
I
was
get them mixed up. But
the prequels. I think the
yeah,
prequels are much. Well, anyways, it's just at a point where I was like, yeah, I'm not misremembering at all. And the show also lacked like any humor, and not that they like really lean into humor in the latest trilogy, which was also unbelievably not the best. But
Misa gonna get shot.
there's like no in like the Force Awakens on that.
Oh well, I don't watch them because they're bad movies.
But they lean into the humor a lot. But like, there's that scene in episode 3 where they're like stuck in the hallway and there's droids around and everything, and Anakin's like, R2, get up here, and he comes like screaming through one of the doors and slams into the wall, and you're like, okay, I mean, it's not like leaning into it too hard, but it's like a great.
I agree. It's like goofy comedy. It like in a scene where like the mood is not meant to be serious and dark. It relieves it a bit.
Yeah, for sure. Well, yeah, because it literally like less than 2 minutes later, Anakin like cuts off Dooku's head.
Yeah,
and
you're
like
it's a good like buffer.
Yeah, but there's just like none of that. There's none of that pacing in The Mandalorian, and the show again. I can't stress how many times I was like, oh, so they're gonna leave the world with Mando to go do what? Because why? Oh, because of a weird verbal miscommunication. Sweet, that makes sense. I'd do that.
A Google Gaga.
I'd go fight a bunch of Iraqi insurgents to save someone's kid because I told them in the supermarket that I wouldn't let a stranger rape his kid. Oh, okay. Yeah, I hear. I'll travel to Iraq. Let's go. Come on.
What the fuck?
That's the exact like.
I know, but they usually use the weird just a weird breakdown.
Well, I'm like, I'll protect your kid. The guy's like, oh my god, my other kid ran over here. Can you watch this one? And it's like it's like a guy, and the guy's like, yeah, I won't watch your kid. And then the guy comes back and he's like, oh, dude, I think my kid just got trafficked to like Nicaragua. And I'm like, and the old guy's like, okay, let's get a gun. Let's go to Nicaragua and save that kid. Like, who does that? You don't know this person.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. There's like, yeah. I mean, it would make a lot more sense. I feel if everyone in the show kind of had an idea of what Grogu was, and I think only Ahsoka knew that, like knew what he really was, and she was the only one that didn't come fucking with him.
Yeah. Ahsoka's like, fuck this. I'm gonna live in the swamp.
Yeah. So it is kind of like, I feel like there should have been more reason besides, there's my friend.
Yeah, vaguely my friend.
Yeah, like
I've never seen his face.
Be friends anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, yeah, it's just like, it's just rough.
Yeah, and that's my thing is like if they had like a solid cast of people that were doing this, like a team or something, like I would have felt better, but it's just all these horrible characters that really seem to have no real interest or affiliation with each other. And I'm just confused about why anything in this show is happening.
Right, yeah. It's a downside. I mean for the most part as a general sense, I enjoyed most of the casting. I think everything was kind of like there was obviously the Gina Carino and like the second in command for the I'm forgetting what they're called, like the blue Mandalorians.
Oh yeah, they're just Mandalorian.
Yeah, the one that gets into a fight with Boba at the bar, that was just fucking stupid. Like
it was very stupid. It was kind of like a forced conflict thing there.
It was like this pointless power like presentation.
Yeah, it's
of
like dick waving with each other.
Yeah, and it's I don't know. It's like there's a few characters like that which I think just like there's nothing. They don't add anything at all. Like literally, the second in command for the Mandalorian one, I have no reason who she was. She spoke like 7 words and just fucking did nothing. She was like an extra gun for no reason.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot
Like,
a lot of it felt that way. And I mean there was some stuff that they obviously like drew from like the expanded universe for like the phase 3 Dark Troopers is like totally an EU thing that they lifted, which is
it's
good.
cool.
And like Ahsoka obviously was not in any of the original movies or even the
True.
prequels. She's not mentioned in the prequels at all.
That is a big thing to be fair. That, like they bring Ahsoka onto like an actual film level
Right.
production.
Um,
So I mean,
guarantee, given everyone she knows is dead, besides well, everyone she
true.
knows is dead. Vader's dead by then. Like literally everyone's dead. But I think it's great that they did that. But there's just so much that I'm like, dude, have you guys watched Star Wars?
you watched though.
Have you like? If I had to give the show a rating, I would give it because I like Star Wars, maybe a 5 or 6 out of 10.
Right.
And if I didn't like Star Wars, I think I'd probably give it like a 3 or a 4.
Fair.
That's where I'm at with it. And I say all that with the bearing in mind that there was a lot of potential for the show, and that I'll obviously watch wherever it goes. I don't like hate it unbelievably, but it just wasn't charming at all. There's like charm in those old Star Wars movies, and even in the prequels,
Right.
and there was no part of this was like, "Whoo, you're wooing me." Like,
I agree. Also, before I add anything, the Bo-Katan was the little girl's name, the main
yeah,
blue one.
Yep.
And she was the same voice. Her actor was a voice actor for the ones in the Clone Wars, the Star Wars, the Clone Wars animated series.
I figured,
So,
I figured it was very close.
yeah, that was a big thing. But I agree. I agree with most of what you said. I mean, personally, I think I'm not as big as the Star Wars fan as my buddy here.
Right.
I'm more of I'll consume the media, and I think there's like a lot of the expanded is really cool. But for the most part, it's like I think the original movies. I mean, they're cool, but like they're like worth one to watch, maybe like once a year or two. Like, I don't really.
Right.
Nothing is like too big for them. It's like not a big thing that much for me. So I don't know. If I have to give it a rating, I guess it's maybe like a 6, maybe like a 6.5 to 7, and that's like the first season. I think the second season is maybe like a bit lower. Maybe like a 5 or 6 if it's like really pushing it. So
Well,
around the 6 part, 6 rating is probably what I'm going to give you like the entire show. So
that's fair. I mean, like I said, that's pretty close to mine. We should do a Star Wars episode one day, like just the movies. Well, like the first 1 through 6.
you want to do the fucking? Wouldn't that be? That's like a 6-hour podcast, bro.
Yeah, dude, it's gonna be fucking great. There's so much good shit we can do with Dylan. Dylan loves Star Wars.
You know what we should do? And this is just the greedy mind talking. We should like a week before the Book of Boba releases, we just do like I don't know, we like just flood like our titles full of
Star Wars
Boba
stuff.
Fett. Yeah, just like fill the feed so we just
Yeah, dude. Yeah, listen, that's just good marketing there, Jibby. I'll say this, and I mean this very, very genuinely. Imagine this show if it was like Han Solo. Would you still care for it as much? No artwork, no Mandalorian stuff, no anything. Would you?
I think
still
I would care about it less.
Right. Yeah. Do you think you would have the same amount of stuff, or do you think that the fact that he had like a really cool set of armor on carry this show like really far?
That is true. That is like sadly true. Like his whole like gimmick of I'm like this like brooding like cool looking
Space war
bounty hunter that like has a focused goal and he wants to get that goal regardless. It like carries the show heavily. Like if it was just like if it was like this but he didn't have armor and he was gonna turn into a Mandalorian, I would like lose interest very quickly. Like it's like I don't want to see some random guy and like
yeah, exactly. Yeah, Yeah, and then that's just like a visual thing. That's interesting. I wouldn't have given a shit. And if I didn't care about the Mandalorians period and have any of the history behind it, I'd probably care even less.
Fucking.
Wow. We just deconstructed this biatch.
We just deconstructed. Now this is kind of like an off-spin thing, but like I don't know if you caught it, but and this is like it might not even be confirmed, or it might be, but this is something I remember from this story. You know that you know those little robots that when Boba lands on the planet that he gets like all these contacts and stuff from.
Yeah, he lands on Tatooine, the little pit droids.
Yeah, little pit droids. One of those pit droids is apparently the one associated with Luke's what's his not Luke, Anakin's
pod
racer.
Pod racer, yeah.
Yeah. One of those little droids was apparently one of those he was like the one working on it or something. The one that like he's got like a burn or scratch mark on his like head.
Oh, okay.
Which correlates with the original series, like in what something happened. So it's like a lot of those kind of things I think are cool.
They are very well. There's a lot of stuff that was a nod to it.
Yeah.
A bunch of stuff I'm sure I can't remember now because I just watched literally
that is
like
one
12
thing,
hours of.
Yeah. Like besides like the obvious pulls of like this is Ahsoka, this is Luke.
Right.
Like there's a lot of like smaller things which I really did enjoy throughout the series. Just like with the whole like the Bo-Katan voice actor stuff and stuff like that. I think is cool. But yeah, I just wanted to add it in. It's a cool little nod.
You nodded, my friend. There was a lot of nodding. Go, oh, I'm gonna poop. Oh, I'm gonna poop.
Yeah, this is a common occurrence for.
No, I'm good.
Putting out there.
I'm good. Listen,
I
I eat dinner. Yeah. I just swallow it because it tastes good. I love the taste of puke.
Ew. Okay.
Well, that's pretty much all I have to say about the Mandalorian. I'm excited for whatever they do with season 3.
It's like 2022, but obviously there's a few more things coming out before then. There's the Bad Batch. There's the Book of Boba. There's Star Wars Andor, and there's Obi-Wan Kenobi's movie.
Star Wars Andor.
It's like Andor is an upcoming American television series created by Tony Gilroy for the streaming service Disney Plus. It is a prequel to Star Wars film Rogue One, following the character Cassian Andor 5 years before the events of the film.
Man, why are we doing a prequel for the fucking one on? God, okay.
We're doing a prequel for the prequel.
For the prequel of the postquel of the. Oh no, it is for the prequel of the pre. It's
literally the end scene of the Rogue One is the
beginning of 4. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I quit.
I mean, I'm really I'm excited for the Book of Boba and Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan's really cool,
dude. Especially because they have Ewan McGregor.
Yeah, like, dude, that's gonna be amazing.
He can't fuck it up. He's a fantastic. He's such a great actor in everything he did, and like.
He also looks like he hasn't aged a day, kinda.
Yeah, I mean, he's aged, but what era is it supposed to be?
I think it's like taking place in the Republic era, because apparently there's meant to be like a scene in honor. Well, I know I'm not sure because I know there's like meant to be like it might be just like a culmination of his life kind of deal.
Oh, okay, just like a.
Hold on,
because I don't know how they do young Obi-Wan. That like CGI.
I hope it's not like what they fucking did with Luke.
Yeah.
So, because then we've got a problem. Because I'm excited about this fucking thing. Hold on. There's like no description of it either. So it's like, I mean, I hope it's like, it kind of spans more Republic. Because seeing like stuff like the clone troopers in like the modern format would be really, really cool.
Sure.
And stuff like that. Like seeing the 7th Sky Corps in action would be fucking amazing. Like, that was Obi-Wan's. I'm pretty sure that was no. I think it was the 412, wasn't it? That was Obi-Wan's.
That could be true. The 501st is Anakin's.
501st is Anakin's, yeah, the Vader's fist. Which fun fact for those that don't know, they were the only clone regiment in like the original trilogy, technically. All the other clones got phased out. But
you mean like in like 4th or 6th?
Yeah, like the Empire era. Like they like the Vader's first or the 501st, the blue guys were the only remaining clone troopers in service. Well, for the most part, because everyone else was like conscripted. So. But yeah, that's really. I don't really have much else to say. I guess.
Powerful words. Well, we'll be doing one probably not next week, but the week after next. Maybe a little Monster Hunter one. Maybe.
True. We have been playing a lot of Monster Hunter
I've been playing
again.
a lot of Monster Hunter, and I don't want to spoil it for anybody, but I have an extremely biased opinion about Monster Hunter that I am ready to share with you. So.
True.
Yeah.
He has played them all. I've played one. So.
Man, and Monster Hunter is I always forget because the game's identity for me is so much about like I played it with my friends at the time, and like the game's identity was like my identity then, and so I forget about them a lot. But I played such an insane amount of because like I think about like Resident Evil 4 or like the Star Wars Clone Wars game, and I remember those games really deeply because I can think about like obviously Resident Evil 4 has a ton of crazy imagery and dialogue and characters and ideas, and it's got such a huge identity, and same thing with like the Star Wars game. But like Monster Hunter was just always so much about playing with my friends like after school.
Right. I get you. It's one of those games.
I just think about like what a profound like hold that has on me.
Sure. I agree. We don't get too much into it because if we do an episode, we want to save it before we don't.
Oh yeah. Oh, I'd hate to spoil it for the people. Ooh.
Yeah, for the People's Republic of Guildies.
Yeah, you should put that in Hearts of Iron. Yeah, we can make a Hearts of Iron mod. We can make the People's Republic.
Are you kidding me? The Hearts of Iron mod is like it's a disgusting scene of like 13-year-olds or like edgy 13-year-olds being like, this Nazis, is my political ideology. Not even that. It's just people with bad opinions. But anyway, that's not really.
All right, fellas, I'm gonna get the hell out of here with my good pal, and we're probably gonna go play some video games. So,
yay!
You all have a great day. And intro music by Sean Halloran.
Sean.
Ending picture by.
We have an ending picture.
And I used that fan art one.
Oh yeah.
From Intaneous.
You can tell I watched the entirety of the podcast.
Listen, it's a professional thing. And Spice on Twitter, I don't know, whatever.
It's like Spice Art. It's literally just Spice Art.
Yeah. He's making us some art, and he makes really cool pixel art. You guys should go give him a hug and a kiss and buy art from him, cause So I'm gonna end the recording. So I guess
Omega lol.
Ooh.